All right. Looks like we're live. How's it going, everybody? This is the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show. And we are coming off a pretty brutal slate for a lot of us last night. I don't know. Maybe it went better for you, Nolan. I haven't really gotten a chance to talk to you about it. But
I broke
Nolan,
even, but it sounds like I was lucky to break even.
yeah, I mean, I certainly would have taken breaking even. I think I got back like under 20% of my entry fees, or maybe under 25%. It was pretty brutal all the way around. Both sites, all sites, it was bad. And so, brushing that one off, and there's a qualifier tonight, so I'm taking a couple stabs at that. There's a bunch of other pretty big tournaments on the main sites, and then we've got, of course, Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports, which is our sponsor. Promo code OSMO is how you get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points when you do join there. That helps them out. That helps you out. It's good for all parties. You guys know the contest they've got going on, $300 to first, and they're $12 for NHL, big NBA and NFL contests as well for the weekend. You're going to be playing some NFL on Yahoo, I'm sure.
100%.
Yeah, same here. So let's see. Let's see if we can bounce back. Well, I'll see if I can bounce back. You can see if you can keep cruising, keep breaking even.
You've been running hot for a while though, right?
Yeah. I've definitely. I think the last month I've ran pretty hot, especially when I've like had decent lineups. I've ran pretty hot as far as like finishing up near the top. So it's been good. Cannot complain about the overall results. And so, yeah, can't complain too much. 2020 promo. You've got one more day. About, let's say, 30 or so hours to take advantage of promo code 2020. That's how you get all access Osmo Plus for 20 days. That's just $20. You get everything on the site, excluding Fantasy Cruncher. You could add on Fantasy Cruncher if you want for that package, but that will come as an additional charge. And then this is the big one. New Year is the promo code, 20% off your first year of Osmo Platinum yearly. So if you commit to us for a year, $200 off. That is pretty good. We've got everything that it includes. And then once again, if you want to add on Fantasy Cruncher, that will come as an additional cost. You're just going to have to do that going to account and then subscriptions on the account page. All right. Last night, as much as I don't want to review it, we got to. You guys can see how much I lost. Although I don't even know if I'm going to be on the first screen, to be honest. We're gonna have to scroll down to find me. But let's look at the winner first. A bunch of people up at the top with one or two entries. So we'll look at Cliffy as well. Cliffy had some success last night. He finished tied for fifth in the $15. I'm sure he had that lineup elsewhere. Ote 2917 took it down. Had Matthews in the lineup. Matthews double donged. He was 47% owned. Nice contrarian Matthews play we were joking about in chat last night. Wheeler, Connor, Ehlers. So kind of a broken Winnipeg 2 stack with Connor instead of Roslovic. Verana, who ended up scoring 11.5 points. Lindell, Khudobin, our boy Sean Walker, and then Sean Couturier one off. So not, never would have been a lineup I get to. More of a cashy build. I like to stack a little bit more than this, but congrats to this guy. Hit on all the right places, I guess, in that lineup. Let's look at Cliffy's lineup. I haven't taken a long look at this. Just in the morning, I saw that all my entries had been taken away from me, and then I saw one familiar name up at the top. Matthews, Marner, Engvall, Tyson Barrie, Couturier, Konechny, and Jacob Verana. So kind of a 3-2 with Engvall instead of Zach Hyman. Saved some money, $2,700. I think Hyman was about double that. So probably did that just to fit in, the rest of his lineup here, and just threw in Engvall. Khudobin and Esa Lindell were the final pieces. So there you have it. We'll look at what I did. Were you in this tournament? Did you play any in the 15 yesterday?
No.
Okay.
Goose egged it.
Yeah. I wish I would have. I can't even find myself. It was a log out pretty early night, but I'll just show you guys what I actually had.
Spend time with the girlfriend, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so I lost a lot here. $1,185 in this tournament alone. The other tournaments were not any better. So moving on Hopefully we can get it right tonight. Anything else?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've got the deep dive. I think is our free piece of content today. If not,
Nice.
I apologize, but we'll get it going. That's what it said on the calendar, so that's what I'm going with. Let's talk about the games. We've got 11 of them, and we're going to start out with a pretty good one. Winnipeg Jets and Boston Bruins, 2.5 implied total for the Jets, 3.5 for the Bruins. Laurent Brossoit expected to go against Yaroslav Halak. Anything noteworthy here?
Yeah, so the big news, of course, is that Torrey Krug is a game time decision. I'm just looking at crunches right now. Like, not getting much of Boston 1, but I think like if you are going to roster Boston 1 on an 11-game slate tonight and Krug does end up going, I think it's just like a no-brainer to add him into your lineups in the 30 minutes prior, because you're going to get him at 2% ownership probably. And then as well, they switched up their lines. Backus is in, and who's out? Brett Ritchie is out for Boston. On the Winnipeg side, no morning skate today, but I didn't even notice this. I just like totally missed this. Andrew Kopp on the second line with Ehlers and Wheeler. How long ago did that happen? Like a week ago?
No, that just happened.
Just happened? Okay,
Yeah.
good. I'm not completely out to lunch.
Yeah.
Roslovich on the third line with Lowry and Perreault.
All right.
Oh, and sorry, one more small thing. Sami Niku's listed as in, but Dmitry Kulikov activated from the DL. I would expect him to sit. So.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think Boston won's priced high enough, to be honest. I saw Winnipeg got in late. You got a huge total here for Toronto. Winnipeg played last night. This is a much, much tougher game. Boston, one of the best teams in the league. And then you're pretty set with matchups here as far as Bergeron against the Scheifele line. So if you just look at the numbers offensively and defensively for both of those two lines, super, super favorable spot for Boston 1. You can play them whenever, but I think tonight I'm going to force them in for 23-5 as much as possible. The question is just how many third lines are you comfortable playing? How many of these cheap lines can you make a case for? And I think there's enough where
Can you fit them with Vegas too? I'm just kidding.
I don't think you can. So
Yeah.
Let's see. I can't remember what the magic number is for like forwards where you could like punt your last three positions, but it's going to be difficult to fit them in. But their ownership reflects that as well. So it's not like people are just jamming them in, and Nashville 3 is going to be 10% as well. So I think it's
as well. I think like we're not getting to a lot of them in crunches. I think it's partly the price point. I think as well, like our projections just love Roman Josi today, and he's projected for 4 more points than the next closest defenseman on this slate, which means that's where a lot of this money is going in your lineup. So.
Yep. Yeah, so Josi, he looks incredible as always, and so some of these top defensemen are going to be forced in. If you're using an optimizer, you might have to manually make some changes to force in Boston 1, whether you just lock Bergeron for some lineups and see what happens if you're 3-3 stacking. You don't have to 3-3 stack as well. I always, that's how I oftentimes play, but you can 3-2-1 it if you like a 2-man and there's a plug as the other guy in the line, and find a cheaper winger. You could do that as well. Seth says his projections have Grizz over Josi by 4 points, so he's locking in Matt Grzelcyk. I don't think I'll be locking in Grzelcyk even if Krug is out. If Krug is out, maybe you do some power play stacking here with Boston 1 plus Grzelcyk. 3,400, he's fine, but I probably would try to avoid playing him in a lineup that does not have Boston 1, if that makes sense. And then I agree with you on your Krug take. Really good take. That's one that I know Tom will be taking advantage of if he sees that. He loves making those late swaps. So I could see like Tom having like 20% Torrey Krug with Boston 1 and up at the top with a bunch of lineups. Feels like that kind of night.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything on the Winnipeg side you want to mention?
No, back-to-backs for them, I guess. They'll probably keep an eye on line changes. But, I don't think I'm going to get to much tonight.
I think it's a terrible spot for Winnipeg. So, maybe if you wanted to make a case for a line, if you're 150 maxing like I am, I have to look, like I'm looking at like everything to see if I can make a case for some of these lines. You could probably do that with Winnipeg too. Maybe people don't realize that Kopp is on that line or expected to go on that line. Or if there's something different in warmups that we see, maybe you take advantage of that at no ownership. But when you're on the road in Boston back to back, it just seems like a spot where at best they slow them down, and at worst I think they get completely smoked. So probably Boston 1 or nothing, and then keep an eye out for Krug here would be my only other advice.
I concur. This is pretty darn good spot here. Winnipeg on back-to-backs, and they looked atrocious defensively last night. So
yeah, exactly. Should be a good one. This slate might be over really, really soon too. Like if Boston one's rolling,
But the thing is, like, it's really like your original point stands, man. It's really hard to pair them up. Like you have to pay down twice a D to get a halfway decent line. If you stack with Yossi, let's say you do a Boston stack with Yossi and Grzelcyk, and then just Rask, an $8,000 goalie, you are left with on DraftKings, you're left with 3 bare min players. Like you have to. I mean, you can obviously not take out Yossi, but like you're pretty much left with lines under 10K, and there's just not a lot of them. So I could definitely see a scenario where Boston one goes off here and that line doesn't end up winning the slate, right?
Right. Let's say Boston one scores 60 points as a line or whatever. That's a really good score, and that's definitely outdoing their projection. But Yossi scores 25 and another line scores 45. That's 5K cheaper than Boston one. Like that could easily be the nuts. So you're gonna need like a big score out of Boston one. Like maybe you get the Pasta hat trick, or a couple full line goals. They get a power play goal as well. Like you're gonna need a lot, but it seems like they have by far the best chance to do that tonight. And they're not even owned as like the top line. It's not like we're seeing 20-25% ownership or anything. I think they're gonna come in quite a bit lower than that.
Yeah, for sure.
Edmonton, Montreal, 2.9 implied total for the Oilers, 3.2 for the Canadiens. Mike Smith and Carey Price are your goalies. Big addition here on the Canadian side, right?
Absolutely, yeah. But get back their top line. Dano, Tatar, Gallagher. Looks like he's good to go. Practiced in full this morning. Ilya Kovalchuk moves down to the second line with Domi and Suzuki. Another little note that I maybe flying under the radar. Ben Chirot out tonight. Forgot to look into what the injury was, but Marco Scandella on the top pairing with Shea Weber at the bare min. There's a guy you might want to pop into some of your Boston one line upset near the bare min for $20. Is someone making fun of me in chat or what?
No, I have a personal bias against Marco Scandella. He got me a 0 in the live final when I needed a punt.
Oh my god!
And then he scored a goal the next night. So I was pretty tilted at Marco.
He's pretty useless. Like I wouldn't go crazy or anything. Like he doesn't seem to do much. But I mean, 20 to 25 minutes is he's probably going to hit the 20-minute mark, right?
No, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you're going to need an outlier game from him. Like even if he gets 6 points and gets his projection, that's not really going to do you much. You're going to need an assist, and maybe he gets the block bonus or something like that. You could see that happening.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, especially any defenseman that's cheap that's going to play a lot of minutes on this slate where you've got a really expensive Boston one, you've got a really expensive Tampa one, and then a bunch of other top defensemen that are in good spots, namely Yossi, but like guys like Weber as well, priced up into the 6K range. Like there's a lot of expensive pieces that are in good spots. So you're going to need to save salary somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Matchups here. Pretty safely going to be Dano, Tatar, Gallagher against McDavid. They always hard match. Not always, but for the most part, they hard match against opposing top competition. I think pretty good chance we see Draisaitl up on that line at some point. I think Edmonton is probably trailing at some point in this game. I don't know. I like Montreal here a ton. The top 2 lines, but especially the top line with Gallagher back, that makes a massive difference.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. The Montreal 2 popping for us is one of the best bargain lines. But, I mean, I think for me that's going to be a fade at that ownership. It's going to be about 10% owned. I don't know. I will come in underweight on that. I don't know. I'm not super sold on that line. I mean, it's a good bargain, good value, but I'd prefer to go elsewhere at 10% ownership.
Man, they're that high? I must have missed them when I was looking.
Kovalchuk was 15% the other day, I think.
Yeah.
So like,
did he end up?
That was just full fade for me. Like, I'm good.
I'm guessing we were close on that, but did he end up actually?
I didn't actually look. No, sorry. Okay. I just saw our projections, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like they had a super high total, and he was 2,500 on the top line. So
yeah, looking at where Domi's at, I mean that's pretty high. I'm sure the other guys might be a little bit less, but popular filler. Regardless, it's going to be popular.
Don't stack him. I mean Boston. That's probably going to be the most common line stack in Boston. one
Yeah, I would think. Yeah, they're going to be up there, top 2 or 3 for sure.
or Nashville 2?
Nashville 3, maybe even. I've heard a lot
Yeah,
of talk about
maybe.
them. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I prefer the top line if you can get to it. And like they're a priority for me. They're not like a secondary line. They might be priced like it, but just elite 5-on-5 numbers, good matchup against McDavid, Draisaitl, or McDavid, Neal. Maybe Draisaitl jumps up there at some point, and that's a terrible defensive line as well. So yeah, they're going to go up against McDavid a lot, but I don't think it's that big of an issue for a line that has arguably the best numbers on the slate from a like nerd number perspective when you're talking about high danger chances and scoring chances and all of that. They're up there with
What
everyone.
about the Edmonton side of this one? Because like no ownership on Edmonton one.
Tough matchup against the Dano line. Like same thing. If it was McDavid, Draisaitl, and Cassian, maybe I could make a case, but Neal is not. You're not getting a big discount on him, 5,500. I guess you could. I don't know. I don't even want to make the case for it. I just don't really like it much at all. So if McDavid goes off, if the Edmonton power play goes off, which maybe might be the way to attack it, I'm probably not going to do too well tonight. But they're also not getting
Fair.
owned, so I guess I wouldn't be buried if they go off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just tough 5-on-5 matchup for McDavid and Neal. And then who knows what Edmonton does with their lines. That's the frustrating part with them. So Clefbaum, Nurse, kind of mentioned Weber. He's listed on the second unit, so I'm getting to more Petrie at 4,600 with Montreal 1. Weber probably the guy you go to if you're stacking up the Domi Kovalchuk line. And you could probably afford him because of how cheap the second line is. So just correlation plays. I'm not getting to a ton of Weber one-offs. I am getting to some Petrie one-offs, and then definitely with Montreal 1, like I said. Anything else you want to mention?
No, I'm good.
All right. Just catching up on chat here, seeing if there's anything. What's hard match? That's when the home team gets last change. So on most dead pucks, they get to decide who they go up against, while the away team has to put on their guys first. So let's say the Edmonton Oilers put on McDavid on the ice, and the Canadians like the matchup with the Dano line, which they're going to do a lot. They'll put that line on when they see the McDavid line go on. So that's just what hard matching is. They'll intentionally do that. Some coaches will just roll lines, but I would expect here you're going to see a lot of Dano against the McDavid line.
Yeah, for sure.
Arizona, Tampa Bay, 2.6 implied total for the Coyotes, 3.5 for the Lightning. Aiden Hill and Andre Vasilevsky. Those are your goalies. Any changes?
No changes that I saw, just that McDonough is going to miss another one, so you can probably upgrade Sergachev a little bit. Eric Chernak as well seems to be getting, I think he was like the nuts defenseman the other night, so, fire him up at, actually, he's probably a better play than Scandell at his price point. Yeah, and then Arizona didn't skate this morning, but I think we can probably expect the same lines from them.
Yep, that's how I'm approaching it as well. I think if you're talking about Arizona, it's really top line or nothing for me. I've got like no interest in Arizona 2 or 3. I actually think Arizona 2 and 3 are going to see a lot of time against points Stamkos and Kucherov, which seems like a very, very one-sided spot. If you look at Arizona 2's numbers, they're about as bad as it gets. If you talk about like a pretty decent sample, like here, I'll pull it up right here. Arizona 2 expected goals against in 102 minutes of ice time together. They're at 3.3 expected goals against. That leads the slate for any line that is above 30 minutes of ice time together. And they're going to get,
crazy.
Yeah, they're going to go up against point Stamkos Kucherov for a good amount. And then they're probably like point line is going to go up against Arizona 2 through 4. And it's going to be Cirelli, Palat, Johnson against the Dvorak, Hall, and Garland line for the most part. That's a pretty tough spot, I think, for Dvorak and Hall, but that would be the line I would take a chance on if you're going with Arizona. But I love Tampa 1 here. And I'm a Tampa 1 hater, but just that 5-on-5 matchup alone, maybe they get a crack at a couple power plays here. I know Arizona doesn't take a lot of power penalties. Maybe on the road you get to like 3 here and they score a power play goal. That's kind of what I'm thinking, because I think they're just going to dominate at 5-on-5 with those 3 guys together. So I get that they're expensive, but this is one of those spend up to be contrarian spots that I definitely want to be over on. What about you?
I had no idea you were a Tampa Bay hater.
I'm not a Tampa Bay hater. Like they're always good, but they're never a line that I feel like when they're chalk that I'm ever there.
Yeah.
Like if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Slack knows. Like
You're
they
just
always
you're
tell me
bitter.
I fade
You're
Tampa
bitter
too
because
much.
you've missed out on them.
I don't know. I probably did miss out on them a lot early last season where they were just dominating every single slate. And Boom was just, he was rich after the first half of the season. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I just don't see anything not to like outside of the obvious, which is just not an optimal power play spot. But the ownership is exactly where you would want it.
Yeah, that's fair.
So as a pivot to Boston one, like maybe Boston one's a little bit more popular at the higher stakes stuff. I would be looking at Tampa. I'm considering them for one of my qualifier teams too. So
Let's just check in on the ownership here.
they're really low, really low. Like for Tampa
Oh
Bay
yeah.
at home with a 3.5 total,
Oh yeah.
it doesn't really get much better than this.
It's tough matchup, I guess you're right. Like tough Arizona still is pretty darn good penalty kill, right? So
Yeah, they're at like 83%. I'm sure the advanced numbers are even better, but
yeah.
I mean Tampa has the number one penalty kill or the number one power play, so it's a tough matchup
Yeah.
for Arizona too. If they take two penalties, which obviously that like they're averaging like 2.5, I think, time shorthanded this year. So if you give Tampa Bay three, they got a pretty good chance to score a goal, I think, and then
Yeah.
great 5-on-5 spot. So that's how I'm approaching this game. Feels weird to be on Tampa when it appears not a ton of people are going to be. But here we are. Hedman at 6,500 because it's not a great power play spot. He's probably going to get left off for me quite a bit. I'm fine including him, but then you're talking about a really, really expensive four-man with him plus point Stamkos and Kucherov. So he's getting squeezed out just a little bit. And then I don't really have much interest on other defensemen in this game.
Yeah, fair. I think I'm with you. I'm with you too. Like it feels like a good spot to get overweight. Like 5% or whatever this line comes in at. That's not bad. So 3.5 total. Yeah, sign me up.
All right, let's do it.
Full power play correlation as well. Like it's been a while since we've had that from Tampa one.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we haven't had that because it's always been like Johnson or I think maybe it was Killorn for a little while last season
Yeah.
or early this year.
Maroon as well.
Yeah, Palat, like all these power play two guys that you kind of have to leave off or full stack and hope for low ownership. So, yeah, full power play. Here we go. Vancouver, Florida, 3 implied total for the Canucks, 3.5 for the Panthers. Markstrom and Bobrovsky are your goalies. Do we see any changes on either side?
On the Vancouver side, Jake Virtanen up with the big boys, Miller and Pedersen, and Brock Besser getting demoted to the third line with Roussel and Godet. I would expect that to hold. I don't know. There's rumors in Vancouver they're like shopping Virtanen or something or showcasing him.
Really?
Who's Vancouver playing? I spaced out there for a second.
Florida.
Florida, right. No skate for Florida today, but we're expecting the same lines.
Yeah. I'm looking at my exposures right now. If it started right now, I don't think I would have a ton of interest in this game. Obviously, I'll get to my few shares of Florida one because I always do.
Yeah.
Especially when they're not owned. Like, they're going to be around 5% ownership.
I can't get them right. Every time they go off, I'm off them. Every time they're on, I miss them.
Yeah. This Pedersen, Miller, Virtanen line, too, which is probably the one they're going to see the most of. It's been really good. It's like a 30-minute sample, so you can't really do a ton with that. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of like Vancouver too, with Virtanen, Pedersen, and Miller as just a sneaky stack that I think just goes completely overlooked. And then Barkov, Huberdeau, Dadonov is probably where I'm going if I'm going to Florida at all. But right now, I don't have anything in this game over 5.3%, so 8 shares out of 150. I don't see that changing too much. Good spot for sure. Both teams at 3.5 totals. But this one, it's kind of worrisome because there's a lot of offensive talent in this game. And it seems like we've had a bunch of Florida games that have gone wild lately, and this could definitely be one of them. But I'm hoping this one stays at least somewhat quiet.
Yeah, that's fair.
Any defensemen? There's a couple punts, I guess. Matheson, Stillman. You could probably even include Strawman there. You've got the Yandel thing, 5K. If I guess play him with Florida 1 if you want a power play stack, or just leave him off entirely. That's probably how I'll approach it. Edler's 5,800. I might get to a couple shares of him, but I wish he was on the power play in some fashion, because I think this might be a spot where he could block a ton of shots and maybe get you the combo meal.
That's the thing. Like, I'm just not paying up for. I'm not paying $5,800 if a guy's on a power play too.
Yeah, we're all power play whores here. So no power play tag. You're not probably going to be on my team too often unless you're like 3K, like Mattson 3,300, Stillman
or like your boy Matt Grzelcyk.
Exactly, Grzelcyk. That's the guy I think of when I think of great defenseman. Anything else in this game? Like, are you on the Trocheck line at all? Are you on Horvat, Pearson, Erickson? I hate that Besser's on the third line, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not super. I mean, you get some cost savings with Vertanen, and I think were you mentioning this line as like actually has some pretty good underlying numbers. Only 30 minutes, but third on the slate and expected goals for, which is pretty impressive. But like, yeah, I think like I'm gonna probably try to come in at weight with Florida, maybe a little over, because I don't know. Like, Vancouver got lit up last game. Maybe it's a little bit of recency bias, but I don't know if Vancouver's as good as their record suggests, and I feel like this team's a little bit susceptible to playing this a little wide open hockey once in a while. So, I don't know. I kind of like the Florida side with this one a little bit, and those like second and third lines are going to come in at pretty low ownership, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I mean, pretty talented third line too. Vetrano and Hoffman as your wingers, like. Maybe that's a spot where you could stack with Boston 1 if you're looking to do that, or Tampa 1 if you liked what I had to say before, or if you were on them before. But yeah, I'm nervous to not have a major stand in this game, to be honest, because I think Florida could score like 6 or 7 goals here, regardless of what we just saw with
back to back. Are they going with Markstrom again?
That is not confirmed. They're not on back to back, are they?
No, 2 nights ago.
Okay. All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if Demko got this one.
Does Vancouver play tomorrow too?
Because
then you might get Demko.
Yeah, you would actually. That's a good call. You would. No, it's only a 3-gamer tomorrow.
Okay.
Sabres on Saturday, but I don't know. Demko hasn't played in a while.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they. I mean, could go either way. But
yeah, I mean, we'll know at 6:30.
Demko relieved Markstrom last game, so I wouldn't be. He played a full period almost, or over full period. So I'd expect Markstrom.
Okay, fair enough. All right, let's go to the Devils and the Rangers. 2.9 implied total for the Devils, 3.5 for the Rangers. Blackwood and Shesterkin making a second straight start here. Rangers are going with a 3-goalie rotation, it seems like, for the time being.
Yeah.
Lundqvist, Georgiev, and this gentleman, Igor. What do you like here? I guess, do we have any changes, first of all?
I don't see any changes. Jack Hughes still out. Sammy Vatanen. Is Severson? I'm trying to remember if Severson has been on the power play, but he's on the power play for the Devils. And on the Rangers side of things, everything looking pretty much the same here. So Anthony DeAngelo still quarterback in the top power play unit. The Devils didn't skate this morning though, so just keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, so they played. Was that last night? No, 2 nights ago, right?
2 nights ago.
Getting my nights all mixed up midway through the season.
What do you call it when you're like in the middle of the slog?
I don't even
something
know.
Of the season. The dog days of summer. Is there like a hockey equivalent?
Yeah. That's what I'm in right now. All these slates just running together. All these sports, NFL going on. Trying to grind through that. So I don't know. I can't remember which teams played which nights, but I do remember the Devils played a pretty high event style against the Islanders, whatever day it was. They had these lines: Hischier, Simmons, Palmieri, and then Zajac, Coleman, Gusev. I kind of like the Zajac line I think I was telling you that in DMs a couple nights ago. The power play correlation sucks, but they've played well at 5-on-5. And so against a team that stinks defensively at 5-on-5 in the Rangers, maybe that's a line you look for Boston 1 or Tampa 1 if you're looking to pair them. They're not super cheap, though, so I don't think they're going to be that popular of a filler despite going up against the Rangers. I think Palmieri and Simmons, they're going to be – it looks like they're going to be a little bit popular. I don't know. What do you think of them as like a popular filler stack?
I think I would rather take less than 1% owned New Jersey 2.
Yeah, I definitely in agreement there. They had 24 shot attempts in the last game.
Yeah, it's a good line. Nikita Gusev was a star in the KHL last year. Like, he hasn't really done much this year, but like, you know, normally if you're like over a point a gamer in the KHL and you come over here, you've got some offensive upside. Right. Like, it's not like he's a scrub or something. And then like people just hate rostering Travis Zajac. So, I mean, you're probably hoping for an assist or two if you're rostering him. But yeah, the price point is going to keep people off of this one for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So we're on the same page there. As far as matchups go, Zibanejad, Kreider, Buchnevich, I think we'll go up against Hischier, Simmons, and Palmieri for most of the game. That leaves Strome, Panarin, Fost against the Zajac line and the Zacha line, 2 and 3, going up against each other for the most part. But I think you're going to see a decently hard match on the Zibanejad line. That's the line I like, once again, for the Rangers. This time, though, like I just really like the spot for the Rangers. They're cheap and, well, relatively cheap for the 3.5 implied total. Good matchups all the way around. And then you've got two guys in the top power play on both lines. So tonight I'm going to have a more even spread. I think I was talking about on the show yesterday that 2 nights ago, I liked the spot for the Rangers, but I was really heavy on Rangers 1 and didn't have a lot of Rangers 2. And that came back to bite me because Rangers 2 was awesome. And Rangers 1 wasn't that great. But tonight it's going to be a more even split. But I think the Rangers are going to be my highest exposed team of the night if you're just talking about stacks. So I really, really, really love them here. Rangers 1 might be my highest exposed line tonight.
Damn. All right. Good to hear it. Yeah, pretty high total and a rising total as well. That's gone up about a third of a goal since the start of the day. So I'll just defer to you on all things hot takes about the Rangers. You seem to you've gotten the Rangers right a lot, I think, over the past. So I will be riding them right there with you.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we can keep that up, but we'll see. I mean, it would be nice if we just saw like a 6-5 game, bunch of Zajac goals, bunch of Buchnevich goals. It feels like he's gotten left out of the fun, even when Rangers 1 has had good games. So
yeah, does he because I know like he's been in the doghouse a little bit and like will continually get benched. No power play 1 for him as well. So I don't know. Like if you're gonna leave someone off, I guess you could leave him off, but also it's that same thing where like everyone's gonna leave him off if they leave one player off. So
yeah, and there's a couple good spots for power play stacks. Rangers is definitely one of them. I haven't decided if I'm gonna mess around with power play stacks, but if I do, the Rangers are definitely gonna be a team that's on my mind for that because of the talent dispersed between the two lines. And Tony D, 4,500, playing well, playing most of the power play 1 minutes. I think Fox saw a few seconds of power play one time, but he's listed on the second unit with Trouba. I'm getting to some Fox. I'll get to some D'Angelo, stacking the top 2 lines and doing some power play stacks. So just really like the spot for the Rangers top 6. Once again, just a Rangers homer, I guess, lately.
Apparently.
Anything else you want to add here? You like Vatanen, or you questioned Severson? Is that because you have interest in him?
No, I just noticed he's on the power play there,
Okay.
but he's super expensive. I've got no interest in him at that price point.
38
yeah.
for Severson?
He's been like 28 his entire
I guess.
career.
I don't know. I think that's fine for him, but I kind of like Vatanen at 5K. He's been shooting a lot, playing good minutes, attempting a lot of shots. I guess the underlying numbers have been pretty good for Vatanen lately, but 5K.
That's pricey, man.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, you probably have to pair him with the top line and hope the Devils get a bunch of power play opportunities.
I'll just find the extra 2,500 for Yossi.
Or like Theodore is a little bit more expensive than him. So I get it if you don't like the Vatanen play, but I think we've got him at like 1 or 2% owned. So if you don't want to get duped, there's your guy against the awful Rangers. Sabres, Blues, 2.3 applied total for the Sabres, 2.3 for the Sabres, 3.2 for the Blues. Linus Ullmark and Jordan Binnington are your goalies. What do we have here? Any changes?
St. Louis didn't skate this morning, and actually forgot to look at Buffalo. So let's take a look right now. Asplund up on the top line. Is that happened last game?
I haven't heard of Buffalo since forever. Like, it feels like,
Yeah.
do they have a bye week? Are they coming off a bye?
Yeah, they might be. So it was Asplund up there last game as well.
Okay.
So Johansson, Sharif. Oh yeah, Michael Frolik making his debut tonight on the second line with Johansson and Shiri. Looks like that third line of Larson, Okposo, and Girgensson still intact. That's pretty much their checking line. And yeah, I guess Olofsson out. Asplund is on that top line, but not getting power play one time.
Anything you like on the Buffalo side first? Can we get them out of the way? Because
No.
I mean, I can't make a case for Buffalo at all. So these lines suck. You get Frolik there. Maybe people want to fire up the new toy, but no Skinner. Like, they just don't have very many NHL caliber players.
Yeah, seems like Binnington might be a lock, like a cash lock almost. Like it's him or Subban tonight, but like this is a pretty darn good spot for a 2-0 St. Louis win, right?
Right. The problem with Binnington would be, for me, is just that
Price.
like he's just not going to see enough volume.
Yeah, but I guess I agree. Like, but I think like this is like he's not. I guess cash, right? Like I feel like that there's a really good chance at a win here.
Yeah, but I would rather I would rather play a cheap goalie in cash that's going to see a ton of volume. I think if I was playing cash, you talk about floor and in cash, of course, but some of the best cash players that I see play really cheap goalies, especially with this new scoring 35 save bonus. I don't know, maybe difference of opinion. Like, I would rather spend up to get another forward, like upgrade that extra $1,000 somewhere else.
There you go.
I mean, they seem like a really good chance to get a win, so I get what you're saying there too.
Yeah.
And then I just don't know where the offense is going to come from the Sabres. So one of the lowest totals on the board. You're going to get likely a hard match, Ryan O'Reilly and Perron and Sanford against Eichel and Reinhart. And that basically wipes out the Eichel line for me. I know he's been my kryptonite all season. I feel like I haven't gotten Buffalo right once this season, it feels like. And if he double dongs here, that's fine. It'll probably be unassisted. You look at these numbers for St. Louis for the second line. They're allowing 45 shot attempts per 60, 21 scoring chances, 2 expected goals. The high danger chances actually aren't terrible if you're thinking about playing Buffalo 1, but there's a couple lines I'm thinking of crossing out tonight that I wrote down as I was going through stuff, and I think Buffalo 1 might be one of them. So
fair.
O'Reilly line
correlation, weakened by Asplund, terrible matchup.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense.
And I was still getting to them, like crunching through, like I was getting like 2-3%. I'd rather allocate that elsewhere. I don't really have interest in firing them up just because Eichel is going to get his 3% ownership because he's Eichel. I'll go elsewhere. And really Buffalo as a whole, like I'm not messing with the second or third lines either, I don't think. But I don't really like St. Louis that much either. I'm okay with the O'Reilly Perron line. Shen Schwartz, Kyrou, probably the easier matchup. Just not really impressed with how either line has played offensively so far. So I'm hoping this one is, like you said, like a 2-0 win, scoring spread out for St. Louis, and we kind of move it on. Pietrangelo at 6,400, catch your eye at all?
No.
He's a fine one-off. I'll say that. Or if you are stacking St. Louis 2, like that would be a guy I would think about playing. But you're talking about,
he's hot right now, but
yeah, and he's the volume's there as far as like shot attempts and stuff like that I like to track recently. So I think Pietrangelo is fine. I've got a few guys ahead of him though. Burns, Yossi, I like Shea Theodore a ton. So
Giordano?
Gio, man, he has not popped up for me. It feels like I've got something wrong. Like
he's getting the ice time and the shots now, though. It's like it's starting to rebound a little bit.
Yeah, I've got 0 Gio right now. I'm guessing that comes up by the end of the show. I don't think I should have 0 of him. But anything else here before moving on?
No.
Okay. I see a bunch of people in here watching. If you guys could throw us a like, that would be very much appreciated. If you would like this content to stay free. 3.4 implied total for the Preds, 3 flat for the Blackhawks. Pecorine and Corey Crawford are your goalies. Looks like pretty popular Nashville 1 spot because of how cheap they are. Any changes, first of all?
So on the Blackhawks side of thing, they did not skate this morning, but Dylan Strome is out and Drake Caggiula is in on a line with Taves and Kubel. Like, just whole new lines here. It's just an absolute mess. None of these guys, only Doc and DeBrincat correlate on the power play with Kampf. And then it's Carpenter and I believe Alex Nylander. So just kind of gross all around for the Blackhawks. And then I think everything is the same for the Predators.
Yeah, it's disgusting Blackhawks lines. I mean, it's the same story with them. Like, Kane getting a little bit of ownership, but that's just because he's Patrick Kane. I don't even know the best way to attack the Blackhawks unless you think they're going to change lines here. Like, it seems like I just don't know what they're doing here with their lines. Carpenter, Nylander, Kane. You've got Kane, Taves, and DeBrincat all split up. So I get the 3 total, and because of the 3 total and 3 cheap lines, like, they might all get some relative popularity for like a third line, the Carpenter line. Maybe the best way to attack this is just to power play stack it and play the Blackhawks' best players. Like, maybe you go Doc, DeBrincat, and Kane or something like that. There's no matchup that sticks out to me. I don't think Blackhawks are going to hard match. And so I think you're just going to get favorable matchups for Johansson, Forsberg, and Arvidsson. You know how I feel about them. So I'll be playing a bunch of them. The problem is you need to be aware of what you're doing when you play them, because they're going to be popular and you're more likely to be duped. It's an 11-game slate, so you're probably not going to be. But if it fits perfectly with Nashville 1, you might want to make at least one pivot in your lineup. I'm actually underweight on Nashville 1, which I wouldn't expect to be. Like, this time last year, I would just be hammering Nashville 1 and losing all my money. Really good spot for them. Great line. I guess if I had to poke a hole with them, it would just be that they don't have perfect power play correlation. But Yossi is the real, the main event here, right?
Yeah, I agree. Getting to about 85% Yossi. Just looking at these crazy stats here, LA is number 1 in shots for per game and number 1 in shots against per game this year. That's crazy.
LA,
the
Kings.
Yeah, or sorry, number 5 in shots for per game and number 1 in shots oppression, 28.4.
Oh, don't
game.
worry, we'll get to the Kings in just a minute.
I know. I'm jumping the gun here, but it's just like that's nuts to me.
Blackhawks, Preds. I mean,
so like I'm out on the Blackhawks completely, and then the Preds. I think I like Nashville 1, Nashville 3 with you, and then Roman Yossi. Yeah, just sign me up for as much as possible. If you're going to crunch using the projections, you're going to get a ton of him, and we've been projected for like way more points than any other defenseman. So I don't know about you, but I'm just going to try and get as much of him as possible.
Yeah, and I see people in chat saying that it's going to be tough for Yossi to hit value or whatever. Like, I don't think of it that way. I just think he's got a great chance to be a top 3, 4, 5, like raw point scoring defenseman, and his ownership isn't even going to reflect that, I don't think.
I think you can kind of think about it like running backs in the NFL with some of these defensemen. They're a little bit easier to project than forwards. There's a lot less variance. And then when you have that high floor, it also forces your lineups into some unique lower own combos. So, like I have you get a Zajac Yossi lineup with another line, and that's going to be probably a fairly unique stack, right? So.
For sure. No, I agree. That's actually a really smart way to put it with the running backs. Like, you've got Fournette or McCaffrey at 10K. He doesn't need 40 points for him to be worth it in that lineup. Like, you don't necessarily need 25 out of Yossi. If he gets you 18, 20, you have a chance at him like being in the winning lineup. Like, not a lot of defensemen are going to score 20 points. He's got as good of a chance as anyone. So that's how I look at it as well. What about Nashville 3? We have to mention them, right?
Yeah, they're like top 5 in expected goals for. They just keep on trucking, man. So, and like I'm guessing they're going to get a little bit of ownership here. Haven't actually checked that out yet, but
let me see where.
Let's take a quick look here, shall we?
Nothing.
No. Oh.
Yeah.
That's not much ownership right there. I will be overweight on them. And yeah, that's all I got on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be over. I might manually bump them. I think they're gonna be relatively popular filler with Tampa one and Boston one.
Yeah,
And
agreed.
maybe a lot of people don't look at like line stats like we tend to do, but they're just cheap and they're on a team with a high implied total. So people probably think they're pretty sneaky with them, and it looks pretty sneaky right now on our ownership projections. Any
Hmm.
defenseman on either side not named Roman Yossi? Duncan Keith, perhaps?
Yeah, no, I'm good on the Blackhawks today. I don't need much. I don't know. Like Duncan Keith, 4,000. Hamannik's projecting a little bit better. I think there's just other guys I like a little bit more, so I'm good.
I like Keith a little bit. Uh, it's just a one-off play really because he's not on the power play with Kane and Tays and DeBrincat. So I hope the Blackhawks do not screw my lineups over.
Do
But
you do you like a little bit of Yannick Weber on the top pairing with
2,600 with Yossi.
Yossi? Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely open to it. Is it just a minutes thing?
Let's see how he did last game.
Was he
20
on the top pairing
minutes.
last game?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many minutes did he play?
18 minutes, one shot. But he's like at least like he's a puck mover, like he's got offensive upside. So he might not shoot a lot, but his the knock on him has always been just kind of like his poor defensive play. So I don't know. I don't hate that. I don't hate that call.
No, I don't hate it at all, actually. If you're going to be on the ice with Yossi and a lot of times Johansson, Forsberg, and Arvidsson generating a ton of chances, maybe he runs into an assist or two,
Yeah.
blocks a couple shots, 2,600. Yeah, that's exactly what you're looking for. I like it. Let's go to the Wild and the Flames. We've got a 2.7 implied total for Minnesota, 3.3 for Calgary. Alex Stalock expected to go. I don't think Dubnik is back yet. Cam Talbot for the Flames. Anything we need to note here?
Just that the Flames juggled again last game. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet. I don't know if you know offhand why, but Dubé was up on that Monahan Goudreau line for a while, and they shuffled the second line. So for me, it's like I'm just at this point with the Flames that I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to stick together. Maybe this is I don't know if this is still a trend or not, but yeah, like I like their spot they're in, but I'm going to be underweight just because of that fear that they may end up shuffling again.
Yeah, didn't they go with Lucic on the top line with Monahan and Gaudreau for a while?
Maybe I don't know. Like they didn't have any line above I think 15% or something together last game,
Yeah,
so they shuffled it. I saw Dubé on that line when I looked, but
yeah, that might have been
maybe they
it.
started with Lucic.
I know Lucic was with some like a combo of players he should not have been with, whether it was Monahan, Gaudreau, like he,
Well, unless those players are in the AHL,
yeah,
he's always with a combo of players that he
exactly,
doesn't belong with.
exactly. So yeah, I like the spot for Calgary. You make me a little bit nervous with what you're saying about line combos, especially what happened last game. And then I can't really get a grasp as far as like how they're gonna match or if they're gonna match at all, because they've been going Kachuk against opposing top competition, um, and I just don't know which line they're gonna consider the top line. Probably the Parisi line, but if they go up against them, then that's not a great spot. It's not that great of a spot against Koivu, Parisi, and Fiala. Um, and then the Monahan, Backlund, Gaudreau line, I thought that was going to be a pretty good line when they put it together. It is not. Just as far as generating offense, 2 expected goals per 60, under 8 high danger chances, 26 scoring chances. They're not even at 60 shot attempts. I don't know what has happened to Calgary. It's weird.
Very strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good lesson here, and I've learned one of the things I've learned um, over the years is like to not get hooked on a line too much, like especially from the year before. Like I don't know, we've seen like multiple times, like with Dallas. I think Philly a couple years ago was like Philly one was just one of the top scorers, and then they just had this terrible year. And so like if you're kind of like biased or attached to a line, like I mean we don't have that, we don't even have that normal Calgary one line to go to anymore.
Right.
But like like don't play them and wait for them to break out and just keep losing all your money while you wait. I think.
Yeah, so I do that. I do that a lot.
I mean,
And
maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe you
so
get lucky.
no, I don't think you're wrong. It's just like I feel like in a variance based sport, and Ben Raza, our coworker Ben Raz, really sharp in NFL and golf and a number of different sports and betting. He says that like he talks about for golfers, like he's just going to be in on a guy for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And just hope to catch the positive variance within that time frame. I feel that same way about certain lines that I think are really good but haven't had great results. Like I think
Right.
as you continue to generate like the amount of scoring chances at the rate some of these lines are, like Vegas 2, even with Stevenson, like I was just hammering them every single slate and it didn't work out, but you look at the numbers and they were generating 20 shot attempts and 10 scoring chances every game. Well, if they're just not finishing, that's one thing, but at some point they're going to finish those in a game and score 2 or 3 goals. So that's how I think of it. But
Yeah, for sure.
for this game, there's not really a line that I want to do that with. So all that being said, probably not going to end up on a ton of Calgary. Like I'll have small shares of each of the top 2 lines, but looking at where ownership's at right now, Calgary's not going to decide what happens with my money tonight.
Right there with you, though. I think I'll probably try and be over on Giordano.
Okay, 6,700 for Geo. Yeah, Pit 1.
Pricey, but
Pit 1
maybe.
did work out. That definitely did work out. So that's one of those examples that went well. Did it not work out for you?
What? Sorry, what slate?
Pit 1, just that, like we were talking about how good the numbers were for Pit 1, right away within the first couple games, and then we just kept playing them. So
yeah.
What?
Who's that?
No, just
right
with
now?
like the point about Vegas too, how like they had these great numbers,
sure.
we kept playing them, and it didn't work out. Well, Pit 1, they had the great numbers. People were saying they were playing over their head, but they were also generating a million scoring chances every
Exactly.
game. Anything on Minnesota before we move it on? We got a couple more.
No, I'm good.
I don't think I have much of anything. Minnesota 3 has been okay together, but you get no power play time with those guys. And yeah, like Minnesota 2 is talented with Parisi and Fiala, but Koivu's centering them, and the top line I think is going to be a train wreck defensively. The stall line. Kings, Golden Knights, 2.7 implied total, 2.3 implied total for the Kings. Getting ahead of myself here. 3.7 for the Golden Knights. Jack Campbell and Malcolm Subban are your goalies. Any changes before we hammer the Vegas chalk here?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, Nolan, good call by you. Demko starting tonight for the Canucks. So you kind of backed off that take. You should have stayed strong. Yeah, good call by you. Regardless, we'll definitely give you credit for that one.
All right.
What are we doing? Like, is there any reason to fade Vegas here?
No.
LA played last night.
Yeah,
you mentioned
I'm 100%. I like this is one of those things where like I'm gonna try and maybe like in a 20 max I might go 75% Vegas too here.
In the 20 max?
Just go like 15 lines. I think they were the biggest benefactors of the Marchessault injury. They had a 30, like one of the knocks on playing Vegas 2 is I think has been that their ice time isn't like, even though they create a lot of chances, their ice time's a lot lower because you have 2 top lines. Last game they had a 36% 5-on-5 share, which is nuts for them, and they all saw like 22 to 25 minutes. Great spot, great numbers, great price point. Just super high on this line.
Yeah, so if I had to choose between Vegas 2 or Nashville 1, I think I would choose Vegas 2. So too. I'm actually over where we have the ownership projections on them. Pacioretty's just been a beast, just generating so many chances, like just shots, shot attempts, shots on goal, like every stat you look at, he's been incredible last 10, last 20 games. Stone is coming along too, like he's starting to come up for us, and then you get Stastny back, and I'll kind of be annoyed if Vegas 2 goes off because we're playing him so much, and now people think that Stastny's back in the line, so now they're gonna wreck, and it's a great spot. So I guess I won't be too mad because I'm gonna have a lot of them, but we got them at such low ownership tonight. You will not get them at low ownership because of this price.
Not like terribly high either, like 10%.
Yeah,
like I'm perfectly fine with that.
Oh, it's nowhere to the point where I would think about fading this in MME, and I'm going to consider Vegas 2 very hard for a Q team. Like maybe they get to 20% in that tournament, but I think they're that.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to generate a million chances here. It's just whether or not they finish them. And they have Stone and Pacioretty and Stastny, who's obviously a better distributor than Chandler Stevenson. So,
Yeah,
just
for sure.
I think, have a good case for the best play on the slate. Right now, because of where ownership's at, they're going to be probably my second or third highest owned line.
Rare full first power play unit correlation too.
Yeah. And that unit looks pretty stacked with Tuck and Theodore as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you could even full power play stack this if you really want to get creative tonight.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. You mentioned LA giving up the most shots.
Oh, the least amount of shots.
The least amount of shots.
Yeah, LA allowing 28 shots per game, the least amount in the entire league. Crazy, right?
Would not have guessed that, but
I would not have either. And should they be like getting ready for a cup run here? Like, this is nuts, but apparently they're terrible.
Yeah, they suck. I don't. Think
I would expect a lot of this to regress. They were number one in shots per game to start the season. They're down to fifth. Like, it's going to go down.
I think they're going to get blasted here. Do you have any interest in Kings 1? And then we kind of left out Vegas 1 here. I don't think you can just write off Vegas 1 either.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Chandler Stevenson's a little bit of a downgrade, though. So
sure.
Marchessault is the main shot generator on that. So, like, I'm not going to have Vegas 1. I'm going 20. I mean, different approaches to 150 versus 20. Mm-hmm. So you got to be a little bit. I think you got to tighten things up a little bit in 20.
Yep, I agree. Definitely Vegas 2 the preferred play, but I'm not just disregarding Vegas 1 because Marchessault's not there. Still a good price point. And those guys are fully correlated on the second unit. We've seen Vegas switch back and forth between what's their top unit, what's their second unit. So, and I'm definitely not scared of Kopitar. I follow Toffoli on a back-to-back where you've got 2/3 of an elite line and then another elite line. This seems like it's going to be a drubbing. Theodore 5,100. Where is he falling for you?
Yeah, I'll definitely have him in some stacks for sure and try and squeeze him in. Like, I'm not going to go all 4-3-1, but he'd be my preferred option.
Yeah, I'm going to probably have between 25 and 35% Theodore. So he actually might be my highest owned defenseman, up there with like Yossi and guys like Burns. So I absolutely love him once again, but that's nothing new to anyone who's watched the show for even like 3 days. The Stars and the Ducks, 2.8 implied total for the Stars, 2.4 for the Ducks. Ben Bishop and John Gibson are expected to go. Any news here?
No changes for the Stars, just that Klingberg's still out, so I think upgrading Heiskanen a little bit. He's still a little bit too cheap for me. And Esa Lindell as well, I think. I know he doesn't kind of fit that mold as a GPP player. He's had 3 good games in a row, though. He gets 25 minutes. Like, he's pretty talented. He's got good chance at assists. So I like Lindell in some stacks if you want to stack him with Dallas 1 tonight. On the Anaheim side of things, Silfverberg is out. Max Comtois takes his spot on the second line with Lundstrom and Rackle.
Anything on the Duck side? You like this top line at all? Getzlaf, Henry, Sprong?
No, I don't. I'm good. Like, I've been like getting a lot of the Anaheim 3 in the crunches and Anaheim 1, but I've just been kind of Xing them out.
Yeah. I mean, Kasha is talented, and Getzlaf at least has
I'm tired of waiting for the performance. You know.
Oh yeah, I mean the Ducks are not a fun team for DFS, but
they're garbage.
For 150 max, I probably have some Getzlaf in my lineups. I don't expect them to be the reason I win tonight if I do. But they just make some of these other lines work. So what about Dallas?
Finally got going last game. Yeah. So maybe there's signs of life.
Dallas 1 here, expensive.
I think it's not a bad like pay up to be contrarian play.
Yeah, so that's what it would be for me as well. Let's see, where do we have Dallas right now? I'm actually over the field, which I think I'm pretty happy about. Just a good line. Not worried about any matchup. It's probably going to be Gibson. Maybe it's Miller. Who knows? But I just kind of like being overweight on good lines that are going a little bit overlooked on these big slates. And Dallas 1 works for me for those reasons. Lindell, Heiskanen. You like Lindell? I'm guessing 4K, right?
I do, yeah.
and then Hiskinen 5,100. That'd probably be my guy. I'm okay
Yeah.
just leaving those guys off though. So
Yeah, that's fair.
all right, let's go to the next game, the last game. Man, 2 duds right at the end. Blue Jackets, Sharks, 2.7 implied total for the Jackets, 2.8 for the Sharks. Late Night Hammer, Elvis Merzlikins, Aaron Dell. Should be a fun one here. One noticeable change on the Shark side, it looks like, with their top line.
Yeah, Logan Couture out for 6 weeks. So Suomela is in on the second line with Marlowe and Meyer. I think that probably means an upgrade for San Jose 1, much like Vegas Marchessault being out, kind of like forces them to maybe get a little bit of extra ice time. San Jose 3, probably not the worst value stack. And then Columbus, no Atkinson tonight, still battling back from a high ankle sprain. So looks like, I don't think they skated, but they're not expecting any changes.
Yeah, I was like 4 games early on the Atkinson thing. Thought we were being sneaky there. And
Well, I put him in and forgot to late swap him
Me
out.
too.
So donated.
yeah, me too. My lineup's already dead, but yeah, you've got a nice stacked top line. I think it's a good trio of guys. So if you're power play stacking, this line's not going to get much ownership, at least in term like as far as a trio altogether. People will leave off the
The
bank.
Jenner line?
The
Dubois?
SJ1.
Yeah. Oh, San Jose. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
So if you're power play stacking, if you're going double center elsewhere,
yeah.
I like throwing them in as a 3-wing line.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Is
with the
this the
position.
night for the 3-wing line? Is this it?
I think it could be. Yeah. Dubois.
Draisaitl, McDavid.
Yeah. So something like that, or I don't even know. There's a handful of teams. You could do it with the Rangers, with Strome and Zibanejad and one of the wingers. Like, you can make it happen. And so I will be doing that a couple times here and there. It's not a great spot for them, so it's not like, man, you have to jam in this 3-winger line. No, it's nothing like that. There's not really anything I love on the Blue Jackets side outside of Werenski. People have been talking him up in chat, and I agree. Werenski has been really solid. 5,400, playing a lot of minutes, putting shots on net.
Leads the league in goals now. Is that right for defenseman?
Yeah, I think because he had a couple the other night. Like, he's been really good. So I've got nothing bad to say about Werenski. I just don't necessarily want to stack up a line with him.
Yeah, I agree. I'll definitely have a few shares, but yeah, not super excited. I don't know. I like that call. San Jose 1's going to go super unowned. Pretty good matchup. So San Jose 3 maybe.
Burns is 6K. I think he's underpriced. We're always heavy on him in our ownership projections, maybe factoring in last year's data. It feels like people have soured on Burns, just paying attention to some of his ownership. Besides testosterone, everyone is kind of soured on Burns, including myself. But yeah, I think this is a night where I'm jumping back on. It's not an optimal spot, but top power play, and maybe he skates a bunch with Hurdle, Kane, and LeBanc, and that's a line I think is going to be good more often than not. So 2.8 implied total. Hopefully not a ton of people will be there, but it's just way too cheap. The hate has gone way, way too far on Burns, I think.
I agree. I like that call.
All right, went a few minutes after, but if you guys could drop us a like, that would be very much appreciated. We always thank you for watching. And if you could, go support Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Promo code AWESEMO is how you get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. That is essentially cash when you sign up for your first deposit. We still have a couple promo codes going on. Promo code New Year's, you get $200 off. Promo code New Year, singular, not plural. That's how you get 20% off your first year of Awesemo Plus yearly. And then promo code 2020. If you're not ready for the year, maybe you want to try us out for 20 days and at the price of $20. Promo code 2020 is how you do that. You have to use that on the Awesemo Platinum. Is it the weekly package? I think you can use it on the weekly or the monthly package, but definitely can use it on the weekly. I know that. All right. Anything else before we head out of here?
That's good. I'm feeling good about this slate, man. Let's go Vegas 2.
Yeah, I like it. Let's go Vegas 2, and then hopefully a lower owned line after that. Good luck, guys. I will be back tomorrow solo, hopefully recapping some of your guys' winnings.
Some of our wins.